What's up guys, today we are here with the Ford RS again. We're going to be strapping it down on the dyno over at Snail Performance. Travis is going to do a little bit of tuning on this car today. So we're going to go ahead and pull this thing up on the dyno, get the rear RDU disconnected, and make some numbers. Underneath the car to disconnect the RDU. All you got to do is just kind of stick your thumb in there and you can just unplug it real quick, and now you got front wheel drive. Ford RS front wheel drive. Yay! Also guys, so this is now non-resonated, welded in a little piece right there. It looks really good, almost looks factory really. I mean, Milltek does a little bit of a better job, but still looks really nice. All right, so we're gonna get it pulled back all the way onto the dyno now. We got the RDU disconnected. Not too hard to do that. Takes, I don't know, less than a minute. All right guys, so right there you can see the stock pull over what it is now. So right there, those dotted lines, that top one is the torque number and the red one is the horsepower number. So that intercooler starts getting pretty warm, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely right around 4,800 RPMs. You'd see the intercooler, the temps just start to creep up. Oh. So being that we're on the awesome 91 California crappy gas, I try to keep the power and timing down up top. Given it's mainly used for autocross, we've been putting a lot of torque into it down low.
Right.
So as soon as we get that intercooler and everything installed in this car, I'm sure we're going to see a big increase in power up top, because we'll be able to keep the charge temps down and not have to worry about detonation on this car. Hurt your feelings. Stock STI versus what we have now. The stock STI is like 255, torque's 257. Granted, we have this RS tuned up now, so 300, 386. But for everybody that wants it, that's a stock RS versus a stock STI, which is 255 STI, 282 RS, 257 torque on the STI, and 328 on the RS. Minimal mods, you can see what power it makes. On the STI, to get that kind of torque on a stock turbo, it almost usually takes injectors, full exhaust, intake, E85, just to keep the car happy.
So you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 easy.
Easy, yeah. So I mean, finally an STI shines on E85 and full exhaust, but still it's down low. This RS is really coming in hard.
Yeah, a lot more torque.
A lot more torque down low. I mean, we can see the STI makes a little bit more power, a little bit more torque, but my favorite button is this average button. The STI is averaging 253. This car is still averaging 258. 294 torque, 322 torque on the RS, and this car is on the 85, and the RS is still on 91 ACN crappy gas. Yeah, this car tuned the blowoff valve, which is cool for sound. It does, the blowoff valve, the Turbosmart blowoff valve we put on this does help with response, we've noticed. And then the internal wastegate that we got from Turbosmart definitely helps with the low end response on the boost. But yeah, I mean, as far as mod wise, that, and then the Catback, which I think helped some. I don't think it was a humongous gain like you normally see on a Subaru, but it definitely, in my opinion, helped the car as far as flow. You could tell on the in my opinion, I think I saw better ignition corrections. It wasn't holding a lot of heat back in the engine. We're probably going to try a downpipe, but from everything I've been reading and hearing, I don't think the downpipe really is going to be warranted any kind of power from different reviews I've heard from other tuners that have been trying it out. So we'll see. Cool. I know we're going to try it out. Yeah. I think the biggest power gain is going to come from the intercooler. Yeah, that's my opinion. ST, the Focuses and the Fiestas are the #1 mod is first thing intercooler. Cobb will tell you that. I'll tell you that. Any other STI EcoBoost guys are going to tell you that. Intercooler in there is not efficient at all.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, it's kind of pick and choose what you want to do. But all the ones that I tune, the first thing we do is always the intercooler.
At that bottom number there is the intake temp after the intercooler.
Charge air temp.
So the charge air temp right there. And you can see that up until what, about 4,500 RPM it stays at
about 46. We're down, and this is an older log, so it's a lot cooler. We're at 78 degrees, and then from there it just climbs up.
Just spikes
to about 100 degrees by the end of the pool at 66, 65. Yeah, 6,700 RPM.
So that's where that intercooler, that aftermarket intercooler, is going to come in big.
Yeah, it's going to be, this all right here will be nice if we can get this to lay flat, and then it'll make up a lot of power up top.
Right.
Be able to throw some ignition timing back in there and not worry about detonation. Hot air likes to detonate, so we don't want that.
And what's that top line there?
This was the boost curve. This is, I believe, when we first started tuning this car, stage 1, nothing else really done to this car except, actually this was nothing done to it. And we just started tinkering with it, learning the ways of how this RS wanted to make power. We started out down low about 19 pounds and then ending up about 24 pounds of boost at the beginning and end for this one. It made, I want to say, maybe close to the same power. I don't remember without looking at the graphs, but a lot less torque. We definitely found where we could get the throttle to stay open near the entire pool now, instead of these cars would like to throw close the throttle, depending on the situation. If it was wanted to overachieving boost from what it was desired, it would close the throttle. But we've gotten that ironed out now, so now most of the pools, unless the car gets mad, as far as torque management, I believe, will come into play. But the throttle stays open 100% of the time now, which picked up, in my opinion, made the engine breathe better. That's where we think we're getting a lot of good low-end torque out of this car.
Oh, good.
But like I say, the power on this car is mostly me. I'm making the power fall off up top. Our 91 fuel, I do not like it at all. It's for guys that are not in California, you were lucky. Guys out there on the East Coast with 93, we applaud you with your 93 octane fuel. Yeah, so a lot of numbers you see from other guys on 93 are making a lot more power on this, which it's awesome. We did do a E30 blend on this car. We picked up quite a bit more power up top. I want to say we're in the 330, 335 range, which just goes to show you how bad our gas is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as soon as we get that intercooler and the charge pipes on, ETS is getting that kit put together. There'll definitely be more power to come with this on 91, and then definitely we'll be throwing an E30 mix again.
Nice.
Turn this thing up.
Yeah, that was fun. On the autocross, it was on E30, so it was putting down some good numbers.
Oh, that's right. You guys did drive it on E30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was probably making what did we do on that? Yeah, probably about 15 more foot-pounds of torque at peak.
Yeah.
But about 25, 30 more on the horsepower. So we definitely got a lot more top end.
Yeah. That low end torque is really where it shined on the autocross, because that was pretty awesome. It just really ripped out of the hole, and as soon as it got into boost, it was like it was wanting to power oversteer.
Yeah,
so it was really fun.
I've drove this. I haven't driven on the autocross, but we have our little test loop around the shop, and I got on the road right out here, and I've stomped it coming out of the turn, and you need to be holding on the wheel with this car.
Yeah.
Especially if you have traction control turned off. If you're not paying attention, this thing will step out and go. But that's the other great thing, is this car doesn't really get away from you.
Right.
I know there's
manageable.
a lot of guys in Subarus that they'll get stepped out on these cars and they'll spin them. This one is really manageable. I think a lot of it is everybody cries about the steering. It doesn't have great turning radius, but I think it's how they set the rack up to where it won't get away from you.
Yeah, I mean, when you're rotating it and actually going at speed, it's perfectly fine. I didn't notice any issues, you know. Pointing it one direction while the car's sliding another.
Yeah.
Definitely goes. So.
I know these cars are, as Brandon was telling me over the weekend when driving in the mountains, is once you're off power, yeah, they want to do the old understeer, plow through the turn, as people call it. But as soon as you roll back in the power a little bit, it just corrects itself and goes.
Yeah.
I hope that there will be some way that, you know, Cobb or somebody that's bored and wants to hack into the RDU ECU where we can adjust that to maybe in sport mode that it's always active. As far as what Brandon was telling me, the rear RDU unlocks. As far as I know, when it's off throttle.
Okay.
When you get back into the throttle, that's when it powers back up.
Kind of makes sense because the car, like when I was driving it, it did not want to rotate. It did not want to get lift off oversteer like a Subaru would normally do under, you know, taking your foot off the accelerator. It didn't want to rotate like that, which was weird to me. And I guess Brandon was saying it was because the traction control wasn't fully defeated. We had it in drift mode, we had it in race mode, but I guess it's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Fully off. So
yeah, Brandon,
we're gonna try that tomorrow, see how that goes. So
yeah, Brandon would know more on that. He's the one he's dug into this thing, reading, researching. I think I've been more just researching how the ECU works. The guys at Ford, the engineer that did this ECU, he was kind of crazy, but they definitely did their homework. The ECU is really smart. It's almost smarter than I think it needs to be. Wow. Some tuners have really mastered this ECU. I would say I'm still in the mid of the pack learning it. But Cobb has a lot of great supports and helps us guys out. You know, hey, we're having this little issue. You know, they'll help us out.
Right.
But yeah, I coming from a Subaru ECU that's pretty well. Not simple, but you know, you've been tuning them for so long, and then swapping over to a Ford is a big jump because it's a really complicated ECU. Just for people that just look at it and they're just like, wow, that's a lot of stuff to pick into one place.
I just saw how many sensors are on that thing, and it's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah, this car definitely gives you the data you need to tune it and some more. A lot of you can log so much stuff on this car. A lot of it is an actual sensor. Some of it is an inferred sensor. It just takes a temperature or to figure out what it is based on what the Ford engineers have done. You know, like a cylinder head temperature, you know, they'll figure that out and use that for a coolant temperature. Some Fords were inferred coolant, some actually had a sensor. Every year they kind of made small revisions and they see which way they wanted to go with the car. So it's really cool to kind of read through. Cobb has a great little PowerPoint they gave us. It kind of gives a breakdown of each sensor. Like this car had this one, and this one's an inferred sensor. This one has this, and this one has this. So,
gotcha.
Really cool.
Yeah, that's really nice. Great support from those guys.
Go wrong with those guys. We've been tuning Subarus. Man, I don't know. I've like lost track. 12 something years now. Cobb
practically doing them in your sleep.
Yeah,
now.
practically doing them in my sleep.
Yeah.
When Cobb came out with the EcoBoost stuff, I was kind of, was dabble in it, check it out, and then more and more I've been doing like the STs and the Focus and the Fiestas. I've gotten really good knowledge from those cars. The RS definitely a different beast. A lot of it is due to I'm familiar with the Cobb 5-way guys that have the Mustang and Fiestas and all the STs. They understand the 5-way switching. RS doesn't have that yet. So I'm still waiting for that to come out. As soon as that comes out, I know Cobb's working hard to release that. I'm sure I'll come back into my own and figure out how to make some good power numbers out of these. Even though there's guys already making good power, I think for what we're doing, we're making good power with it. I'm just not trying to push it to the max, try to keep this thing happy.
Yeah. No need to do that on this crap gas around
here.
Yeah,
none of this gas that we have out here.
No fun.
Maybe we'll talk Brandon in one day and we'll throw some like race gas in it or something. Like
that'd be cool.
Octane to see what it'll do.
That special, what is that? That blend, your red mix or whatever you call it. What is it called?
The Ignite racing fuel. It's the Ignite Red. We could maybe throw some of that in here. It's basically, I call it the red sauce.
Yeah.
We run that in our Time Attack car. I really don't know exactly the whole entire what's in it, but I know it's like E98 is what they want to say it is. I haven't ran it through a sensor yet to see exact content, and it's cut with 114 or something octane fuel.
Wow.
So I just call it the red sauce.
Yeah,
I know that fuel
freaking awesome.
is awesome fuel, and maybe we should talk Brandon and do an E30 mix with that in there.
That would be
badass.
badass.
Then you have to walk around with a barrel of that in his back.
Yeah, right. It's like tubs of it in the back of the car.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that pretty much concludes the runs for today. Here over at Snail Performance. This was Travis with Snail, main tuner, main guy over here.
I hit the plus key.
Yep.
Or in the Ford Sense, sometimes you hit the minus key.
Yeah. So yeah, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later. Wrench on. Fire extinguisher's over there. We shouldn't have to use it, so let's get to it.